3 short scary stories. Oh,
This happened to me while I was on my way home one night.
alright.
I was living in an apartment at the time. When I arrived on the first floor of my building, there was a piece of paper hanging on the wall that said that the
What's it say?
elevator was out of service.
Oh,
No, not again.
it's the
I
stairs.
said to myself. I lived on a pretty high floor, so without any other choice, I had to walk up the stairs.
Yep.
I was walking up the stairs out of sheer desperation, and all of a sudden, I heard something.
Keep
Then
walking.
I began to feel uneasy.
Keep walking, bro.
I knew that crimes often occurred around my neighborhood, especially targeting people who were alone.
Just keep walking.
When I listened closely, I could hear a pair of men's shoes and a pair of women's high heels walking at the same time.
Walk
I
faster.
assumed that it was a couple. You guys are having a hard time like me. I'm struggling to walk up the stairs, especially this late at night. I
Bro,
thought to myself. I sighed with relief and turned my head around. However, I will never forget what I saw at that moment.
what is it?
There was a man who was crawling with a pair of men's shoes on his feet.
Bro, what
and
the
a pair
freak?
of high heels on his hands.
Bro, I'm automatically running,
He
bro.
was crawling
I'm running straight up.
towards me.
And she's just staring at him like that, bro. I would have been ran.
This happened a few years ago in the neighborhood I grew up in. When I was around 6 years old, there was an incident
Like
where an
what?
old man who lived right in front of my house was murdered by a robber.
Bro,
Not only did the robber steal
No.
all his money, but he also stabbed him brutally with a knife and then ran away.
that's not cool.
According to the police, the crime scene was as horrible as it sounds.
That's
and
all blood.
Unfortunately, to this day, the robber
Why does he
still
look like
hasn't
that?
been caught. When they moved the old man's dead body and passed by my house, my mom covered my eyes with her hands so that I wouldn't see it. Nevertheless, I could see my neighbor's face through the gap between my mom's fingers. After that, even after a few months
My bad for
had
laughing.
passed, the old man's house wasn't sold. It was because there were a few strange rumors spreading around the neighborhood about his house. Some said that people would always hear the old
Yo.
man's coughing and sobbing coming from inside whenever
Bro,
it
that's
rained.
kind of creepy.
10 years later, all of the people who moved into his house had to leave, and now his house is being used as a warehouse.
3 short scary and 3 short stories. I can't read.
This incident took place in China. A female bus driver was driving when 3 bullies
Alright.
on the bus suddenly approached her. They began threatening her
Whoa.
and told her to stop the bus immediately.
For
Other
what?
passengers were ignoring the situation,
Nah,
but
what
one
help?
middle-aged man stood up and tried to stop them. However, showing no mercy, they started beating him.
Bro,
The
is that
bullies
blood?
stopped the bus, dragged the
Alright, I don't know what
driver
that was.
into the woods nearby, and after a while, returned to the bus. It was
looks so
certain
creepy.
that the driver was sexually harassed by them. Even though she
Dang.
returned with a terrible look on her face, her expression was still very calm. The driver then ordered the middle-aged man to get off the bus right away.
Okay.
The man complained to the driver that
I
he was
would've.
the only person trying to save her, but the driver shouted that she wouldn't start until the man got off.
Start what?
The man resisted, but the passengers joined in
They
and
pushed
forced
him off?
him out of the bus with his luggage, and then the bus started to drive off. The man was upset,
What's she gonna do?
but there was nothing he could do, so he just looked at the
Oh,
back
they
of the
left
bus
him.
while it left him behind.
It's kind of sad.
Staring at the back of the bus, he was suddenly shocked. When the bus entered the curve, it did not slow down.
Bro, slow.
And then it
Bruh.
dropped down a cliff. The bus driver didn't reduce the speed
Bro.
on purpose. All the passengers on the bus died, except for the man who was kicked off the bus.
What? Oh my gosh, bro.
This is a story about a dream.
That's sad.
There was a person who was preparing for a trip. After he
Alright.
bought a plane ticket, he waited a few days with excitement and finally fell asleep a day before the
Don't
trip.
be too excited.
And he had a weird dream. He saw a woman in his dream wearing a colorful jacket. Her eyes and mouth were both
Why
wide
does she look like
open.
that?
Then she suddenly shook her body and started to dance like a mad person. Being surprised, he finally woke up.
You
He
better wake
checked
up.
the time and then he realized that the boarding
24?
time had already passed. All of a
You
sudden,
late.
he received a phone call from his mother while he was thinking about what he should do next.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as he answered the phone, he heard his mother's anxious voice. She was worried about him. Confused, he turned on the television and the news made his heart drop. The plane that he was supposed to be on had crashed.
What?
Furthermore, the airline's logo looked
Once he
very
air?
familiar to him.
Bro. The mirror.
I was bullied when I was in high school. One day,
Not
I
cool.
fell asleep while in class, and when I opened my eyes, it was already dark outside. During the class, no one bothered to wake me up, so I had to leave the classroom alone.
I would
The
been
dark
running.
hallway was scary, and tears were rolling down my face. I was really sad, realizing that I was being bullied. Anyway, I was passing by a full-length mirror in the middle of the school stairs. Then, as I was walking downstairs with my cell phone's flashlight, I saw myself in the mirror by accident, and
Oh.
I couldn't take my eyes off of it for a while. I
What?
was not reflected on the mirror.
Oh.
Being confused, I looked in the
Shoot.
mirror straight ahead this time, but still, I couldn't see myself.
I would have ran.
Staring in the mirror for a few more minutes,
I would've ran already.
I then screamed and ran out of the school. Come to think of it now, I think they didn't see me in the classroom that day.